The nights had grown colder than usual on Outpost Vega 9, a small human research station orbiting a frozen moon. The wind outside screamed across the ice plains, brushing against the domed habitat like invisible claws. Inside, Lieutenant Aaron Voss sat at his desk, the hum of the station's power core a steady companion. For 3 weeks, strange things had been happening during the long nights. The temperature inside his quarters dropped far below safety levels. His system logs showed no malfunctions, yet every night around 0217, he woke to the same sound. A whisper, soft and trembling. "The cold won't let me go." He didn't tell anyone at first. On an isolated base with only 8 crew members, paranoia could spread faster than infection. Still, the words stuck in his mind like ice splinters. Aaron worked as the systems engineer. It was his job to keep life support, heat, and oxygen stable. He checked the sensors, recalibrated the temperature control units, and even replaced the filters. Nothing changed. The whisper came again the next night, closer. More human, like someone standing at the foot of his bed. He tried recording it, but the audio log captured only static. When he mentioned it casually in the mess hall, Dr. Lena Corvin, the base psychologist, tilted her head curiously. "You look tired, Aaron. Are you sure you're not just hearing the wind? The atmosphere outside carries weird harmonics." "Maybe," Aaron said, "but wind doesn't whisper words." That night he couldn't sleep. He watched the clock tick toward 0217. The air grew dense, almost heavy, and his breath turned to mist. Then he heard the voice again, but this time it wasn't only sound. It was presence. The temperature display on the wall blinked. 72 to Kangsu. Impossible. Aaron rose, rubbing his arms, scanning the shadows. The whisper came from behind him. Slowly he turned and saw her. She stood by the airlock door, a faint shimmer like light bending around frozen air. Her face was pale, eyes wide and glassy, lips blue with frost. She wore an old Vega uniform, one used in the first wave of colonists, 50 years ago. "You can hear me," she said softly. "Then you must help me," Aaron froze. "Who are you?" "I was here before. The cold, it doesn't let us rest." He blinked and she was gone. The room warmed instantly, systems returning to normal. But the encounter left his mind spinning. The first Vega team had vanished decades ago. The site where they had built their camp was now buried under 10 meters of ice. The next day, Aaron requested access to the station archives. He scrolled through logs and photos from the Vega 1 expedition. There on her face, Sergeant Mira Halden listed as missing, presumed dead. He leaned back in disbelief. A ghost? Impossible. Yet she knew things she shouldn't. He shared what he found with Dr. Corvin and Commander Reyes, the mission leader. Reyes frowned. "We can't have ghost stories spreading," he said firmly. "This is a human base, not a haunted house." "But sir," Aaron insisted, "she might be trying to warn us." "Maybe the first crew didn't die naturally." Reyes shook his head. "Drop it, Lieutenant." That night, Aaron didn't drop it. He ran diagnostics on the power grid, tracing fluctuations to the North Corridor. An unused wing sealed off due to unstable structure. When he forced open the door, his breath caught. The walls were lined with frost, thick as glass. As he stepped inside, his comm crackled. "Aaron," the voice again. "You opened the door. The cold knows you now." His flashlight flickered. He saw shapes under the ice, human forms frozen mid-motion, hands reaching out as if begging for warmth. He stumbled back, heart pounding. The whisper followed him all the way to his quarters. He recorded everything, even the frost patterns, and sent a report to Reyes. The commander didn't reply. At 0217 that night, the whisper came again, louder, desperate. "They're coming." The cold spreads, the lights died. The temperature plummeted. Frost crawled over the inside of the window like living veins. Aaron reached for his communicator, but the signal was dead. Then the emergency lights flicked on, revealing a shadow standing near the door. Mira again. "You have to seal the core," she said. "They're using the heat." "Who?" Aaron asked. "The ones trapped with me. The cold made them different." Her voice broke, and for a moment he saw others behind her, faces frozen in silent screams. Aaron ran to the control room, but the door refused to open. His access codes failed. He banged the console, breath turning white. The whisper filled the room, overlapping voices now. A chorus of agony. "The cold won't let us go. Then suddenly, silence. The temperature rose back to normal. Aaron stared at the blank monitor, sweat dripping down his neck despite the chill. He knew one thing now. Something ancient was alive beneath the ice. Something the first Vega team had disturbed, and somehow it was reaching out through the cold, using it as a bridge. The next morning, Commander Reyes finally replied to his message, voice tight and nervous. "Lieutenant Voss, you're confined to quarters until we figure this out. We can't have your story spreading panic." Aaron laughed bitterly. "I'm not the one spreading it," he muttered. Outside, the wind howled across the moon's surface, sharp and endless. Deep beneath that frozen crust, something stirred, watching, waiting for the warmth of human life to return. And when the lights in Aaron's room flickered once more that night, he already knew what time it was. 0217, the whisper returned. "It's too late. The cold remembers you now." The cold never truly left Outpost Vega 9 after that night. Even when the heaters hummed and the lights glowed bright, everyone felt a strange chill inside their bones, as if the air itself was watching them. Lieutenant Aaron Voss sat on his bunk, staring at the frost on the window. It formed in strange patterns now, like veins or circuits. He knew Mira's whisper was real. He had seen her, spoken to her. But Commander Reyes thought he was losing his mind. When the intercom crackled, Aaron jumped. "Lieutenant Voss, report to command." "Now." He pulled on his jacket and hurried through the corridor. The floor panels felt colder than usual. Even his breath made mist in the air. Inside the command room, Commander Reyes, Dr. Lena Corvin, and Technician Hale stood around the holomap. The map showed a pulsing blue area beneath the outpost, deep under the ice. Reyes pointed at it. "This started showing up last night," he said. "Energy readings under the surface, spreading fast." Aaron frowned. "That's where the first Vega crew disappeared." Dr. Corvin nodded slowly. "We think there's something alive down there. It's absorbing heat." Reyes glared at Aaron. "You went into the restricted wing. You woke something up. Now it's feeding on our power grid." Aaron clenched his fists. "It was already here. Mira tried to warn us." Silence filled the room. Hale looked uneasy. "Sir," Hale said, "I checked the system logs. Power is draining from all sectors, not just the north wing. It's like the cold is pulling energy toward the core." Reyes rubbed his temples. "We'll send a drone to investigate. No one goes down there until we know what we're facing." But Aaron wasn't patient. That night, he couldn't stop thinking about Mira. The sorrow in her frozen eyes. She had said they're using the heat. What did that mean? At Ord 217 again, his screen flickered on by itself. Mira appeared, faint, translucent. "They will come for the core," she whispered. "The cold needs it to live." Aaron stood, heart racing. "Tell me what it is." "Not alive, not dead. It copies what it touches. It made us stay." Her image trembled, as if struggling to hold together. Then she raised a hand, pointing toward the power conduit map behind him. "Seal the main tunnel before it's too late." The screen went black. Aaron ran to the control deck, pulling up schematics. The main tunnel connected the geothermal core to the old Vega 1 site. If the entity reached the core, it could freeze the entire base solid. He called Dr. Corvin over a private channel. "Lena, I know how it sounds, but listen. We have to shut down the tunnel." She hesitated. "You're talking about cutting our only power line. Everyone would freeze." "It's that or worse," Aaron said. "The cold isn't natural." After a long pause, she said quietly, "Meet me in the subcore bay. I'll help." The subcore bay was dim and echoing. Pipes hissed with steam, and the metal floor vibrated from the deep hum of energy. Aaron brought a portable heater to fight the chill, but it barely helped. Lena met him there carrying a small thermal scanner. "Look," she said, showing the display. "Something's moving inside the conduit. It's spreading like frost, but under the surface, alive." Aaron opened a maintenance panel. Frost burst out, thin and white like smoke. Beneath it, they saw a web of crystals pulsing with blue light. It looked like ice, but it moved, crawling slowly along the pipes. Lena stepped back. It's using our power grid as a body. Aaron grabbed his plasma cutter. Then we cut it off. Before he could slice the conduit, the temperature dropped suddenly. The lights dimmed and a voice, not Mira's this time, echoed through the metal walls. Warmth, join. The frost climbed higher, branching out like living veins. Aaron swung the cutter and burned through the conduit. Sparks flew. The voice screamed, a sound like cracking ice. The frost withdrew, but only for a moment. Lena's scanner went wild. It's retreating. No, it's splitting. It's moving. To other tunnels. They ran back toward command, alarms blaring all over the station. When they entered, Commander Reyes was already shouting orders. Systems are freezing across the grid. The entities in the oxygen lines. Hale slammed a console. It's locking us out. We can't vent or heat. It's rewriting controls. Aaron stepped forward. We need to shut everything down, starve it. Reyes looked furious. You're asking me to kill the entire base. Aaron met his eyes. Better cold than gone. Before Reyes could answer, the floor rumbled. Frost exploded from the vents, coating the walls in seconds. The temperature dropped fast. The holomap showed tendrils of cold converging toward the core chamber. Mira appeared again, not just to Aaron, but to everyone. Her image shimmered above the map, voice clear and urgent. You must seal the chamber. It's learning. It knows you now. Reyes staggered back, eyes wide. That's impossible, Aaron shouted. She's right. Open the manual locks. The crew rushed through icy corridors toward the core chamber. The air was so cold it burned their lungs. Frost crawled up the walls like it was alive. When they reached the chamber, they saw it. A massive sphere of glowing ice pulsing with blue light, hanging over the energy core. Inside the ice were shapes, almost human, flickering faces frozen in pain. Lena whispered, It's them, the Vega 1 crew. Aaron swallowed hard. It used them to survive. Reyes raised his plasma rifle. Then we end it now. He fired. The beam hit the sphere, and a wave of frost exploded outward, knocking everyone down. The voice of the cold filled the chamber. We were warm once. You brought us here. You will stay. Aaron crawled toward the control panel, fingers numb. Lena, help me override the locks. Together they entered codes, but the system refused them. The entity was already inside the software. Mira appeared again, her voice trembling. Use manual seal lever under the core. Aaron saw it, a heavy lever near the base, half frozen. He forced himself toward it, ice cracking beneath his boots. Reyes tried to cover him, firing bursts at the creeping frost. Move, Lieutenant, now! Aaron grabbed the lever and pulled. It didn't move. He pulled again with all his strength. The metal screamed. Finally, it slammed down. The chamber doors closed with a thunderous boom, sealing the core inside. The sound of the entity's voice faded into silence. The lights flickered, then steadied. The temperature began to rise slowly. Aaron collapsed, breathing hard. Frost melted off the walls. The others stared at the sealed chamber, none daring to speak. Reyes broke the silence. What did we just lock in there? Aaron looked at him, eyes cold. Something that remembers every warmth it's ever felt. Mira appeared one last time, faint but peaceful. Thank you. Now we can rest. Her image dissolved into mist. For a moment, everyone stood quietly. Then the alarms went off again. Hale shouted from a nearby console, Sir, power readings are stabilizing, but the core temperature, it's climbing. Aaron turned sharply. It's not dead. It's adapting. The sealed doors began to glow faint blue. Thin cracks of frost spread outward. Lena whispered, terrified, It's trying to escape again. Aaron's voice was steady, though his hands shook. Then we take the fight outside. Humans built this base. We'll protect it, no matter what the cold is. He looked out through the frost-covered window at the endless frozen plains beyond. The wind screamed like a living thing. Inside, the sealed chamber pulsed again, faint, rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. The sealed chamber pulsed faintly, glowing blue beneath the ice. The rest of Outpost Vega 9 was silent, almost too quiet, as if the cold itself was listening. Lieutenant Aaron Voss stared at the frozen sphere, his mind racing. The entity inside him, whatever it was, wasn't dead. It had learned, adapted, and now it was waiting. Commander Reyes paced, hands tight on his belt. We can't just sit here. If it breaks through, the entire base freezes. Every system. Every life, Aaron nodded. We need a plan that the entity can't predict. Mira said it copies warmth. It can't anticipate. Human ingenuity. Dr. Lena Corvin stepped forward, holding a portable device. I think I can trick it. It follows energy, right? Heat, power, warmth. If we create a decoy, we might draw it into a containment field. Reyes raised an eyebrow. And risk losing part of the base? Better than losing everyone, Aaron said. They gathered the crew in the control room. Lena explained her idea, a thermal decoy powered by emergency heaters and energy cores. It would simulate human presence and warmth, acting as bait to lure the cold entity away from the main base. Meanwhile, Aaron and Reyes would guide the entity into a reinforced containment tunnel, using the old Vega 1 tunnels as a trap. It was risky. Every second, the sphere's pulsing glow grew stronger. Frost crept along the walls, and the air was so cold it burned exposed skin. Move fast, Aaron said. We don't have much time before it adapts again. The team worked like a single organism. Lena arranged the thermal decoy in the north wing, carefully programming its output to mimic a human heartbeat. Hale and 2 other technicians rigged the emergency heaters and power conduits. Aaron and Reyes prepped the reinforced tunnel with sensors and magnetic locks. As night fell, the temperature plunged. Aaron's breath came in clouds and frost coated the metal floors. The blue glow of the sealed chamber pulsed in rhythm with the cold outside, almost like it was sensing their fear. At 0217, Mira appeared again, her image flickering. It knows your warmth. It will test you. Stay clever, Aaron clenched his fists. We'll need more than clever. We'll need courage. The sphere shifted and a wave of frost shot through the tunnels. The entity moved, faster than they expected. The decoy had been activated, humming faintly like a living heartbeat. Aaron watched the sensors. The entity reacted instantly, pulsing toward the decoy, leaving trails of frost that glowed like veins. Good, Lena whispered. It's following the bait. But then something unexpected happened. The entity split. One part continued toward the decoy, but the core sphere in the chamber started pulsing faster, brighter. Shapes of frozen humans inside flickered violently, and ghostly whispers filled the air. No, don't leave us. Aaron froze. Mira appeared beside him, pale but resolute. It will fight. You must force it into one path. Only one trap can hold it, Aaron nodded. He and Reyes ran down the corridor, cutting off the split fragment of the entity with magnetic shutters, herding it toward the reinforced tunnel. Frost shot along the walls, glowing blue, making it feel alive. Hale and the technicians monitored remotely, keeping the decoy alive as the bait. The entity resisted, splitting again, freezing everything it touched. Aaron pushed forward, using heat grenades to slow it. Every pulse of energy from the entity felt like a heartbeat in the cold air. Relentless, intelligent, alive. Finally, they reached the containment tunnel. Aaron yanked the manual lock and the reinforced door slammed shut just as the main fragment entered. Sparks and frost burst from the closing doors, then silence. Inside, the entity pulsed one last time, almost like a dying star before the sensors went flat. The frozen human forms inside the sphere melted gradually, releasing harmless steam as the entity receded. Outside, the decoy remained active, drawing the fragment away long enough for Aaron and the team to secure it. Mira appeared once more, faint but smiling. You've done it. The cold remembers, but it will not take you now. Aaron exhaled, feeling the warmth return to his body. He realized then that humanity had won, not with brute force, but with cleverness, courage, and care, the very qualities the entity could not replicate. Commander Reyes let out a deep breath. I underestimated it. You were right, Aaron. Human ingenuity is stronger than the cold. Lena smiled softly. And our warmth isn't just heat. It's memory, emotion, persistence, things the entity can't copy. Hale added, so what now? Do we leave it sealed down there? Aaron shook his head. We study it. Learn its patterns. Maybe someday we can turn it into an ally instead of a threat. The outpost slowly returned to normal. Temperature stabilized, power restored. and the frosty horrors of the night receded into memory. But Mira's image lingered in Aaron's mind. She was gone, yet her presence reminded him that humanity's strength was more than physical. It was in connection, empathy, and the will to survive against impossible odds. Days later, Aaron walked past the sealed chamber one last time. Frost no longer clung to the doors. The containment sensors glowed faint green, stable and quiet. He paused and whispered, almost to himself, "Thank you, Mira." For a moment, a faint shimmer appeared in the control room. Mira's ghostly figure smiling, then dissolving into the air like morning mist. Aaron looked out the viewport at the frozen moon's endless plains. The wind still howled, but he no longer feared it. Humanity had endured, humanity had triumphed, and somewhere beneath the ice the entity waited, learning, but it could never replicate what it meant to be human. The cold was strong, relentless and alive, but humanity was stronger. The end.